Celebrities are often put onto a pedestal by society, treated like royalty, adored by fans, and held to high standards. Therefore, it comes as a shock to the public when they sometimes make mistakes, more so when it's a fatal one. Here's 5 cases of famous individuals who had some lethal mishaps. Former Olympic champion Caitlyn Jenner is well known by the public after their very open gender transition. Recipient of several awards from popular media outlets such as Entertainment Weekly, Time Magazine, and Glamour Magazine, it could be hard for someone to believe that Caitlyn shares responsibility for the death of another person. Driving down Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu in February of 2015, Jenner slammed on her SUV's brakes into the back of a Lexus sedan, which was being driven by 69-year-old Kim Howe. The blow of the crash sent Howe's vehicle careening forward into oncoming traffic. Howe's Lexus was almost immediately hit again by a Hummer, killing her instantly. However, Jenner has claimed that the blame does not lie 100% with herself, citing being tailgated by paparazzi who were recklessly driving and taking pictures nearby them. After investigations, prosecutors declined to formally charge Jenner with manslaughter due to lack of evidence. Multiple civil lawsuits were filed against Jenner from victims of the accident, including Howe's stepchildren. One is settled out of court with 2 others ongoing. Don King is an infamous American boxing promoter who is well known for promoting major boxers such as Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield, and most notably, Mike Tyson. King is claimed by many to have worked with him to be a fraud, a liar, and a cheat. Mike Tyson has called his former manager, quote, "a real bad man. He would kill his own mother for $1. He's ruthless, he's deplorable, he's greedy, and he doesn't know how to love anybody." Long before becoming a boxing promoter, Don King had established himself as an illegal bookmaker in Cleveland, Ohio, where he took illegal bets and made a hefty profit at the age of 20. A decade later, he owned several gambling houses in Cleveland. He was also gaining a reputation as a man to be feared. On December 2nd of 1954, Don King happened to walk in on Hillary Brown robbing one of his gambling houses in Cleveland. Don King pulled out a Russian-made pistol and fired it at the back of Hillary Brown's head, killing him instantly. After investigations, police classified the killing as justifiable homicide, and King was not charged for it. Rumors persist, however, that investigators were bribed. King would not be so lucky on his next brush with the law. On April 20th, 1966, Don King entered the Manhattan Tap Room, a popular nightclub and bar in Cleveland. King was looking for Sam Garrett, who according to King had, quote, ran off with some money. Dragging Garrett out of the bar, King engaged in a lopsided battle against him, pistol whipping him and stomping his head against the curb of the street. Sam Garrett did not survive the attack. Sam's supposed last words to King were, "I will give you the money, Don, please stop." Convicted of second-degree murder, Don King was prepared to face a possible life sentence with parole eligibility after 8 years. The presiding judge, however, made an unusual decision to change the conviction to non-negligent manslaughter, allowing King to be released from prison in under 4 years. In 1983, King was completely pardoned from the crime by Ohio Governor Jim Rhodes. In 2016, a proposition by the Cleveland City Council planned to rename the area of Cedar Avenue where King murdered Sam Garrett to Don King Way, after the boxing promoter. Due to criticism of the proposal, the renaming project has been delayed. Rebecca Gayheart is a model and actress, appearing in both films and on TV. She's had roles in movies such as Urban Legends, Scream 2, and Jawbreaker. She is most notable for a TV role on Beverly Hills 90210 in the 1990s. On June 13, 2001, Rebecca was driving through Hollywood in a 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee when 9-year-old George Cruz Jr. was jaywalking in a high-traffic area. Several vehicles stopped to let the boy go, but Rebecca, unaware of the boy's presence, turned around the halted cars in front of her to drive down an open lane. She struck the boy with her vehicle. The child died at LA's Children's Hospital. Interviewed at the scene of the fatal accident, police decided not to arrest Rebecca Gayheart as she was found to not be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. A city LA attorney later filed a manslaughter charge against Rebecca a few months later. Rebecca Gayheart has accepted full responsibility for the accidental death of George Cruz Jr., paying for the funeral and the hospital expenses of the young boy out of her own pocket. When the deceased boy's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Gayhart, the actress offered to settle out of court and even paid for the cost of the grieving parents' counseling and the court cost. Rebecca Gayhart eventually pleaded no contest to the vehicle manslaughter charge that claimed the life of George Cruz Jr. She was sentenced to 3 years probation, a 1-year suspension of her driver's license, a $2,800 fine, and 750 hours of community service. Originally, she faced the possibility of 1 year in county jail. Calvin Broadus Jr., better known as Snoop Dogg, is a professional rap music artist and actor. His career spans over 2 decades, selling over 35 million albums worldwide, which makes him one of the most popular artists in the rap genre of all time. Snoop Dogg has had a number of run-ins with the law throughout over the years, although the most severe of them was his arrest in connection to the death of Philip Walter Merriam. In 1993, Snoop Dogg investigated a disturbance outside of his Los Angeles apartment where he found a friend, Sean Abrams, arguing with several gang members of a rival gang. One of the rival gang members present was Philip Walter Merriam, a young 20-year-old black male with affiliations to the Yourself Hustlers gang. Snoop's bodyguard, McKinley Malik Lee, also went outside. After a few harsh words, the argument was over and both parties left the area. Snoop Dogg has insinuated many times in his music and rap videos of affiliations to the Rolling 20s Crips of East Side of Long Beach, California, wearing blue-colored do-rags associated with Crip gang colors, flashing gang signs, and performing the Crip Walk, a dance move that originated in the early 1970s by Crip gang members in South Central LA. The dance itself is sometimes used as a victory dance upon the killing of a rival gang member. Later that day, Snoop, Lee, and Abrams saw the same group of men at Palms Park in Los Angeles as Snoop was driving around in a late-model Jeep Cherokee with Lee in the passenger seat and Abrams sitting in the back. Another hostile exchange of words took place, where Walter Merriam supposedly approached the Jeep Cherokee driven by Snoop as it was stopped and threatened the occupants inside with a handgun. Snoop's bodyguard, Lee, withdrew his handgun and opened fire at Walter Merriam. Philip died instantly. Snoop briefly went into hiding but turned himself in to police after making an appearance at the MTV Music Awards, where he declared his innocence regarding the killing. Lee and Abrams also turned themselves in. While charges against Abrams were eventually dropped, Snoop and Lee were charged with multiple crimes, including first-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, conspiracy to commit assault, and accessories to murder. Both men faced life in prison. During the trial, Snoop's debut album, Doggy Style, was released and quickly sold over 5 million copies. Snoop and Lee employed an all-star team of defense attorneys, including famed attorney Johnny Cochran. Prosecutor Edward Neeson claimed Snoop and Lee intentionally hunted down Walter Merriam with the goal of murdering him. Johnny Cochran fired back and showed that crime scene evidence had been tampered with by the LA police, with some crucial evidence now missing. Snoop also garnered support of a large list of celebrities, including his friend Tupac Shakur. On February 20th, 1996, the jury returned not guilty verdicts on the charges of murder due to lack of evidence. The jury remained deadlocked on the other charges, ending in a mistrial. Walter Merriam's family filed a $25 million wrongful death lawsuit against Snoop Dogg, but it was settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. While Snoop was not the one who directly killed Philip Walter Merriam, prosecution during his trial believed he was responsible for orchestrating the second confrontation with Philip that ended his life. Snoop's accessory to murder charges would have given him an equal sentence to his bodyguard Lee if he was convicted. Critics believe that if crime scene evidence had been handled differently, first-degree murder charges may have ended Snoop's career just as it started. Jonathan Kendrick Lewis was an American actor who shared roles in television and films. While best known for his appearances in the FX channel TV series Sons of Anarchy and Fox's teen drama The O.C., Lewis also appeared in various popular teen comedies and film dramas such as Raise Your Voice, Underclassmen, and Runaways. He even dated Katy Perry very briefly in 2005. On October 30th, 2011, Lewis incurred head injuries from a motorcycle accident. Lewis's father scheduled an MRI, but Lewis refused to take it, insisting he was fine. At this point, Lewis began to act strange and bizarre at times, which only added to his troubles. Between 2011 and 2012, Lewis was arrested a total of 3 times, with crimes ranging from assault to breaking and entering homes. All charges he pled no contest to. A probation officer expressed that Lewis was suffering from some kind of mental health issues and not fit to be by himself. September 26, 2012, Lewis was renting a home from Catherine Davis, an 81-year-old landlady who had a large hillside home located in Los Feliz, California. Catherine Davis had previous relations with other actors and writers who she accommodated at her villa and was well respected by her neighbors. Catherine Davis invited well-known celebrities like Thomas Jane and Parker Posey to rent out a room and spend time with her. When she wasn't accommodating a guest at her home, she spent her time with her pet cat, Jessie. 2 days after Johnny Lewis's arrival, Johnny Lewis went completely berserk in Catherine Davis's living room as he began to destroy furniture. It's unknown what caused this. An altercation between Lewis and Davis took place where he beat the elderly woman to death. Handprints on her neck during autopsy also showed she was strangled to death by Lewis, although it's unknown if he did this before or after he beat her to death. Lewis continued to rampage through Davis's home after her death, breaking windows and tossing items around. Davis's cat Jessie was viciously beaten and violently dismembered by Lewis barehanded. Hearing the screams of the old woman and the sounds of loud noises coming from Davis's home, neighbors began to walk over to investigate. Johnny Lewis approached 2 male neighbors with a 2x4 and began to attack them with it. When disarmed, he continued to fight them barehanded. Both men later described Johnny Lewis as being, quote, unusually strong despite his appearance and, quote, able to shrug off attacks as if they were nothing. The 3 men fought for close to 3 minutes before Lewis fled back into Davis's home. Both men went into their homes to call 911. Police arrived to find Johnny Lewis dead in the driveway of Davis's home, having appeared to either fell or jumped off from the top of the home. It is unknown if this was an accident on Lewis's part or a suicide. It was widely speculated by many upon learning of the incident that Johnny Lewis was on a strong, mind-altering psychopathic drug such as PCP or cocaine. However, toxicology reports came back that Lewis was clean of all drugs and alcohol. His family has since then become advocates of mental health rehabilitation. Glitz, glamour, and fame doesn't always mean a happy ending. In the end, celebrities are still very much human and are prone to making the same kinds of mistakes as the rest of us, sometimes worse. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time on Horrors, Freaks, and Creeps.